Stark claims the newer 1.2 battery in the EX improves battery range by about 20%. But how much does that actually matter on the trail? Well, we have both bikes, the original Varg MX 1.0 and the newest edition, Stark Varg EX with the 1.2 battery. So we rode both on the same exact trail, and we didn't stop until both bikes were completely dead.
All right, so we're gonna switch bikes back and forth, but we got Dustin starting out on the MX 1.0, and I'll hop on the EX. And both bikes are set to 45 horsepower with 25% regen. So neck and neck, and obviously both bikes are fully charged. All right, so I am on the EX with the newer 1.2 battery. And the difference between the 1.0 and the 1.2 is 1.0 had a 6.5 kilowatt hour battery. This EX and the MX 1.2 both have a 7.2 kilowatt hour battery. So Stark claims that would give you a bump of about 20% in range. So we wanted to do a real world range test. We got both bikes and run them side by side, same terrain. See what type of numbers we get. See if it is 20% better. I hope that it is. So both bikes are set to 45 horsepower. Both bikes have 25% regen. Both bikes have enduro tires. Running mousses on both bikes, which is not how the bikes come, but it's exactly how we would ride it. If you're not riding with a moose up here, then what are you doing? And yeah, we're just gonna run kind of our normal trail pace up here. Not gonna push it too hard, but also not gonna take it easy. Just really wanna know what type of range you can expect if we were coming up here and doing a normal ride, because hopefully we'll be doing a lot of that this year on this bike. So we're gonna ride kind of our normal circuit up here, but we're gonna omit any of the hard enduro or like really steep hill climb stuff that we sometimes do, just in an effort to keep the playing field level. If one of us gets a worse run as the other going up some of that stuff and getting stuck and getting wheel spin, I just don't want that to jeopardize the number, so I'm gonna try to keep it as consistent as possible. Dustin and I are pretty similar pace, and so it'll allow us to not have to like stop and wait around too much. So might stop a little bit, but I'm gonna try to just keep it rolling and try to get like a time number as well, not just distance, because I know a lot of you ask for that, but whenever we're doing a range test, sometimes there's a fair amount of stopping and starting. I'll try to avoid that today. But we are gonna do some hill climbs. You can watch me do this one, steep AF, but not too technical, so can't really mess us up, or at least neither of us will mess us up. Ah, this bike's so good. So yeah, I'm tracking the ride with a couple different GPSs. I'll also disclose how much elevation gain and loss we have on this ride, because it does factor in a fair amount of elevation up here, even though it may not seem like it on the camera sometimes. So yeah, that's our ECR 1.0 Varg back there, and that bike has had a few updates. Everything's completely stock. Woo, blew that. Oh, everything's completely stock, but we did replace the battery close to a year into ownership, so it's actually not that old of a battery either. Not a ton of cycles on it, so that's good. Still pretty fresh. What do you have battery-wise?
88.
Wow, right on the money, dude. I'm 90, so I'm 20% better than you already.
Yeah.
Let's see if that tracks. So this EX has been out for a while, and honestly, I don't really know if anybody's done this test yet. I didn't look. I didn't really want to know. I don't want the numbers to sway our video. And I should know that, like, everybody may, or not even may, everybody will get different numbers on this. So we're doing it in our terrain with us riding, and that may not be the same for everybody, depending on your application, but this should be a pretty good benchmark. Some technical stuff here. All right, we're already quite a ways into this ride, and battery's still sitting pretty high, sitting at about 80%. This might potentially turn into a long day. Maybe even into the evening, we'll see. What the heck? Is that a bed? Brian? The heck are you doing out here?
How much battery you got left there, Tucker?
I'm at 80%.
Ooh, you know those batteries last for a long time. You might need to take a nap to get to the end of that range.
I'd love a nap, but I still want to know what the heck are you doing out here?
This isn't about me, man. Don't make it awkward.
Well, I guess we do have time.
This might be the most relaxing part of today's test because this video is sponsored by Bare Mattress.
Now, I've been riding a ton lately, and what I've realized is your recovery doesn't happen during the ride, it happens after. And since switching to Bare Mattress, after long rides like this, I wake up feeling much more recovered.
Buying online is super straightforward, and it saves a ton of time rather than going to a store. And if you're on the fence, Bare offers a 120-night sleep trial, so you can try it out and make sure it's the right mattress for you. I went with their Elite Hybrid model and chose the softest setting. It's super soft, but still has plenty of support, which is exactly what I'm looking for after a long day of riding. And if you sleep hot, it helps regulate temperature, so you're not waking up in the middle of the night.
And it ships straight to your door. Super easy setup, even if you're in the middle of the mountains.
So if you are looking for the best sleep for your active lifestyle, head to baremattress.com/ECR or use code ECR for 40% off at checkout. All right, I'm feeling rested now.
Well, battery's still at 80%.
Perfect. Some tight stuff here. Through the trees. All right, I just clicked over to 80%, so that would mean that you are at 76?
75.
Okay. Well, I guess it says 79 for me now, so yeah, pretty accurate so far. Want to switch them up? Oh yeah, foot brake. So I'm on the MX 1.0 now. Switch, and Dustin's on the EX. Ooh. Definitely noticed the power curve difference right away. MX is a little spicier off the bottom. Woo, it's dusty. Dustin me. So yeah, MX 1.0 with the 6.5 kilowatt hour battery, MX tune. Suspension is different, but it is not stock on this bike. I had our guy Tyler at Applied run through it, give me what he calls the Corks tune, which is not quite moto, but not quite off-road either. So that I can ride this bike in both applications and be fairly happy. I've got the 2118 OEM wheel set on here right now with mousses. I might get a gold set for the 18 because man, that bike looks so good. I can flash a shot of it on screen here so you can see how good this bike looks with those gold excels on it, courtesy of Woody's Wheelworks. But yeah, man, I feel at home on this bike because I ride it a fair bit. Feels really good. Dare I say it feels lighter? I gotta put these two bikes on the scale. So maybe I'll show that in this video too. But it feels lighter. I can't tell if that's actual weight or just perception because of suspension, and I've got the bars that I love on here too. Cut to the length that I love. Could be just power too. I feel like it's a little spunkier off the crack. Makes the bike feel lighter as well. Ah, both of these bikes feel so good. I was really praising the suspension on the EX on the first ride video that we just posted when Dan came out from Stark. If you haven't watched that, check it out. But I should probably reiterate from that. I mean stock suspension versus stock suspension. This suspension on this bike is not stock, and it is fantastic. So good, feels so glued to the trail. And the MX suspension is great too when you're on the MX track, but to me it's a little harsh up here on the single track, so that's why we tuned it, and man, yeah, it's good. So yeah, the EXs that we've got, and the one that Dustin's on right now, they've got a handbrake for the rear. This bike has a foot brake. I still like the foot brake. Truthfully, it'd be cool if the bike had both, a handbrake and a foot brake, but I just like the foot brake. And I know the benefits, trust me. I've spent many, many years riding bikes that have the rear brake on the hand. I get it. There's just certain bikes that I prefer the foot, but it's nice to have the option. And I am going to spend a lot of time on both and give my final opinion on that. All right, here we go, another big climb. How is that for a view? Yeah, good stuff. I remember back in the day climbing that on a 99 CR 125 and thinking it is like the hardest thing ever.
Even a few years ago, I remember coming over here and being like, who's gonna go first?
Yeah.
Will you make it?
Now it feels like nothing.
Yeah.
I know it's partially skill level, but these bikes make it pretty darn easy. All right, so what are you at?
69.
69er, I'm at 66. You're too hard on the throttle,
I know, I think it's me.
Well, why don't we get them down to like 60-ish and then maybe swap again and see if the gap stays the same or changes. All right, we're burning daylight. And we still got 2 hours. Yeah. All right, let's burn it. All right, we got a super fun downhill now. Earn some miles back. I'm not gonna do it on this test because I just want to keep things consistent, but it's never a bad idea on the Varg to set one of your maps to have super strong regen if you're doing a lot of big downhills. That way you can click it over and yeah, let the bike slow you down on some of the downhills and potentially gain some percentage back. Ooh, I do love this bike. Ew, corkscrew. It's like going down a luge here. Yow. Oh God, screwed that part up. Missed that corner. We survived. All right, I'm at 60. Where are you?
64.
Okay, let's switch and see if the next 20% keeps a 4% differential. I think it's the handguards and the headlight that make this bike feel heavier. I'm just kidding. We are gonna put these bikes on the scale because I do need to know now. It's kind of dying to know. But the MX 1.0 to me feels lighter, but I have a feeling there's a fair amount to do with the suspension on there. It's a little bit more reboundy, which is kind of poppy, lively the way that I like it. And the power feels a little bit snappier, which I think also makes it feel a little bit lighter. And I am a stickler for handlebars, like a weirdo about it. And yeah, I think that's making the bike feel quite a bit different to me. But the scale doesn't lie, so we'll put them on the scale.
So we put them on the scale, and the numbers weren't as far off as I expected. The MX 1.0 came in at 274 pounds, and the EX came in at 279 pounds. The claimed weight from Stark is a bit less than this, but we assume they're measuring it without coolant, oil, and they're running their ultralight tubes. And because we're running mousses, that would probably make up the difference in weight that our scales are showing.
%56?
55.
55, 60. So yeah, man, you're just a little less efficient.
Yeah, I guess.
This guy's just hard on the bike.
Yeah, it's the weight. I've been putting some weight on.
Yeah? What do you weigh, by the way?
165.
I'm heavier than you, dude. The math isn't mathing. So this wasn't intended to be a bike comparison. Naturally, we're both riding both bikes, back to back to back, and both bikes are great, but yeah, starting to feel the differences. Both preferring the suspension that we've got on the MX, even though it's a bit stiffer. I could open up some clickers on that fork and make that probably feel even better. And I'm not taking anything away from the suspension on this bike. Both are just fantastic. Man, trying to get you some good follow shots behind Dustin, but it is so dusty. Hard to stay close right now. All right, I'm at 50%, and we have gone 19 miles. What are you at percentage-wise?
I'm at 44.
Okay, closer than I would have thought.
Yeah, I think we're staying pretty balanced.
Yeah, because in theory, 20%, you would be at 40.
Yeah.
So either that's doing better or this isn't doing as good. Interesting. All right, starting to get dark. Might have to switch to clear lenses here. I can start seeing the headlight. All right, so we're down in the 40s, 40% on this.
43.
43% on the EX. So we're gonna switch bikes again, since Dustin's so hard on the bikes, and even this stuff out. I'm just kidding, Dustin's not hard on the bike, but they are closer than we thought, which is interesting. So Dustin and I are trying to switch bikes every 20%-ish. Yeah, different riding styles. We're about the same weight, but yeah, just trying to keep the playing field even. All right, at this point we are over 2 hours into this ride right now, and we got a ways to go. It's shaping up to be a pretty decent ride. Good thing I got that nap in. Too bad Dustin didn't get to sleep. MX 1.0 is at the fateful 20% mark right now. We didn't really set a standard. I usually say we can ride the bike until it's not fun anymore, but I know from experience the Varg is kind of fun all the way down to dead. So might get it to 10%, see where we're at, and then we'll reveal our final distance. You can start putting your guesses out there right now. I'll remind you once again, you can probably get much better range than what we're gonna get, and you can also get worse range. But this is gonna be our realistic range. And it is getting dark. Camera's probably compensating for it, making it look like it's light out, but we're losing light. All right, good time to check in. We've ridden 2.5 hours. We probably stopped and BS'd for 10-15 minutes, so 2 hour, 15-minute ride. MX 1.0 is at 10%, and I'll reveal the mileage once we get a number from Dustin here.
Like our gap is much bigger than before that loop.
Yeah, it's starting to drop. Clearly, I mean, it says 11 now, but when I stopped it said 10. So what are you at?
I'm at 17.
Oh shoot, all right. I don't even know if we can back it. I think we just gotta go out. But at any rate, if we were actually riding, this is where we would be like, all right, this bike needs to get home.
Yeah.
So we've gone 28.5 miles, which pretty on par. I feel like whenever I've done range tests on this up here, it's been between 28 and 32 miles at best.
Yeah.
So this guy's on par, but let's see how much 17% can get you. All right, so I'll get you a final number. Obviously, we still need to get a final number on the EX, which I think still has a bit of juice. But this guy, pretty on par, where it always has been for me up here. 28 to 32 miles seems to be the number for the MX 1.0. But theoretically, on paper, if the EX had 20% better range, right now, it's looking like it's maybe 8% better in our application. Yeah, we're at 5% now, 29.75 miles. 5.
I'm at 14.
Woo, okay. Yeah, so 29.75 miles, so another quarter mile back to the truck. For this guy, we'll put the nail in its coffin. I don't want to push it much below that. All right, so we're bringing MX 1.0 home. We're gonna call it 30 miles because we got about a quarter mile back to the vehicles. And that'll be sub 5%, so pretty much exactly where you'd want to end. It's a 30-mile bike. Okay, I'm back with the 1.0 while Dustin goes and does a couple more laps on the EX to get a final number on that bike. But when this bike pretty much died, I mean, it still rips. I'll be totally transparent there. When you rip on it, it goes, but it's down to 2 to 3% right now. And yeah, I don't want to run it any lower than that. So 30 miles is what we got on the 1.0. Since he still has 14%, we'll see what his final number is. But I'm guessing, yeah, he'll get another couple miles out of that thing. So yeah, it's close. Closer than I thought. But stick around, because I'll give you a final number here in a minute. All right, he's back.
2%.
2%. All right, that's
but
close enough.
Once it sits,
oh,
yeah,
no, it's
3.
3. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. All right, let's grab the GPS here, get a final number. 35 miles. So that's 5. That's almost 20% better, but not quite. So yeah, it'd be like more than 15%, less than 20. So let's call it 18%.
All right.
All right,
as
Stark.
advertised, yeah.
All right. They were pretty neck and neck, but then the 1.0 fell off quicker, sub like 25%. I mean, yeah, 5 miles, I guess, is a pretty big difference. Yeah, sweet.
So 5 miles was the differential, which makes the EX battery range roughly 16.6% better in this test. Over the ride, we climbed 7,592 feet, and we descended 7,566 feet. And we had a total ride time of roughly 2 hours and 15 minutes. So you can expect much more ride time in a technical hard enduro scenario and likely less range on an MX track. But with that being said, do these numbers line up with what you expected? Let us know what you think, and thanks for watching.